Hey, welcome to Musical Mondays. It's Monday, May the 8th, I think. May 8th. Wow, it's hard to believe. Hey, thanks for joining. We're just waiting for our guest to arrive. Happy Monday. Welcome to Musical Mondays. I'm watching out for our guest. Let's see. How are y'all doing? Let me know where you're joining from tonight. I won't be singing tonight, but I have a special guest joining tonight. And her name is Mellifluous. And you'll hear more about her in just a few minutes. Just waiting for her to pop on. Just let you listen to the music while we're waiting. Oh, hey, there you are. I'll send you a request to join there, Mellifluous. Join the live stream. So I sent you a request. There you are. Yay!
Yeah. Thank you.
Welcome. Hey, great to have you here.
Yeah, I haven't done this before, so fun.
Fun.
Yes.
Well, thanks for being game. You know, when I was following your posts, so I should just say, everybody, this is Mellifluous. If you're watching tonight, and I'll get you to introduce yourself. I feel a little funny calling you Mellifluous, but we can talk about that too. But yeah, I've been watching your posts from the Artist Residency, which I hope you'll tell us all about. So tonight, that's pretty exciting. So tell us about your name and about you.
So I was trying to figure out what to do with music. And so I was on a train across Canada. Another story. It's another story. But I met Patty, who was the drummer of DOA, and he said to me, Lara, because I showed him my music and he was listening, and he said, Lara, you should just like have another name. And so I was like, yeah, okay. I think you're right. I think I need to like have another name for my music so it just feels like a little bit special from what I've been doing all these years, and I could just be someone else. And so I came up with the name Mellifluous, which means sweet as honey. It's a real word, but hard to pronounce. I get it. And so that's where it came from. But in the process of being at NES, I decided I don't want to be anybody else. I just want to be me. So I came back to me at NES, but I'm still calling myself Mellifluous. Just a whole journal. Okay, that's a long answer.
Wow. No, Oh, that's great. Thank you for sharing that with us. Okay, so you came back to you. Okay, so I want to ask about that in a second, but we should probably tell people. So where were
Yeah.
you? And because you mentioned Ness, so what
So
is Ness and
Nest
where is
is
it?
in a very tiny fishing town in Iceland. It has 450
Okay.
people, and yeah, really tiny.
Wow,
And so
it's tiny.
they had a lot of their factories close. There's still a fishing village, but smaller than it used to be. And so with the factories that shut down, they transformed one of them into an artist center. So for the last 10 years, they've been having
Okay.
people from all over the world come to visit the artist center. So people come between like 1 and 6 months to this center to like focus on their art. And so to apply to it, you have to have a project. So everybody who is in NES has a project that they're working on. And so, yeah,
Okay.
so that was, that was the reason that I was there, is I felt like, oh, I just wanted to do something with music and, you know, rethink life a little bit. I guess you kind of have that existential crisis. I always, every couple of months I do. But like, but that's
I
my
love it. I
existential
love it.
crisis that came out of one of my bouts. And yeah, it was amazing to be there.
Oh, and
Yeah,
you were
so
there
I
for
was
two
there
months,
for
right?
2 months, and yeah, I didn't really know what to expect. Like, I had a project that I submitted. It was called What If? And the goal of the project was to use what if questions as prompts for songwriting.
Okay.
Yeah,
Cool.
so I had all these ideas of how that was going to actually play out and happen. And it actually happened the other way around, where I ended up collaborating with a lot of, there were writers there. So I would create a song and then ask a what if question, kind of just fit into my project. But yeah, I just let things flow as they happened. And it was pretty amazing to kind of let things just happen that way, and to see other people's processes. It's interesting because whether you're like a watercolor painter or a writer or a musician, I was the only musician there. Everyone else were in like other mediums.
Okay.
Like, it's all that
Right.
like really amazing messiness that you can see when you're at an artist residency, because you get really close to people, and processes are talked about every day. That's the only thing people are doing. So it's pretty amazing to watch other people's processes. I realized my mind's not the only messy mind. I think it's an art. It's not even a messy mind, but it's just like a process. I think you probably are the same, maybe, that just like an idea, and then testing, and then growing it, and then hating it, and then growing it in a different way. Like, that's just messiness, and it's really fun to see people's like that process happen. So I think that's the beauty of going to an artist residency, is you see that happening every day around you.
Right. So you got to see
For
that
other
happening for other
people, and
people
then you
too,
would talk
and
about it,
witnessing
and
it.
because you could, because that's all you were doing, you might stay up all night working on your thing and just like connecting.
That's why I was like able to Instagram chat you at daytime for me, and I was thinking, shouldn't
No,
Lynn be
it's like
sleeping
20
right
again. I
now?
just like would stay up till 3 in the morning, and because I was a musician, I was the only musician, and because musicians need to make noise,
Right.
I would sort of wait in the studio, and they put me in the freezer. It was like an old, it was like so exciting. I don't know why I like that kind of stuff, but I was in a freezer and then I was in jail because I moved to two different. Yeah, so like a big
Cool.
freezer and
Okay.
very industrial. And then because I needed more, like I had to make more noise. The second half of my residency, I moved to the culture center, which was called Biermanis, and then it was like the old jail cell. So that was like the history, and saw some goats, felt some things.
Wow.
Yes.
Neat. Or are the ghosts going
Well,
to show
there
up
was
in
a
your songs?
fisherman that would come to the freezer
Oh,
and make himself known, heard. Yes.
cool.
Yeah, they don't show up in my songs in that way, but they come up,
Okay.
I don't know, maybe in another way. Maybe they're haunting me right now. Maybe they came home with me. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Spirit. Well, I see someone over your shoulder there. What am I looking? Oh, there's, yes.
That's my ugly that I made a long time ago. That holds
That's
my
great.
violin.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
Wow, that sounds amazing, Lara. So did you find that, I mean, just having the space 24/7 to be able to explore your kind of inner world and your artistic self, did you find that you got into some kind of a routine, or was it always shifting based on who you were interacting with, or that the northern lights might come out, or you saw a polar bear, or I
Yeah,
don't know.
it was pretty much the same. Like I would go to, I just for my me, I would go to bed really late, like at 2, 3 in the morning, and often, not every night, but and then I would get up at like later than I normally get up when I'm like here and working. I would get up at like 10, and then because everyone's mindset is the same, we're all there, like very specific projects. Like, yeah, like it was the same routine. I got up, I worked, I ate when I got hungry, and went to the pool to take a break because there's really nothing to do. And like,
Okay.
yeah, I would say like a hike. And it started
Was it
out
cold?
very cold, and then the weather changed
Okay.
as I went on into my residency. But yeah, like the thing I came out of that residency with is connections with other people. I guess that's why they do residencies, but like collaborating with other writers and painters became something that happened for me. So I ended up writing 6 songs. So 4 of those, I know, amazing. I couldn't
Fantastic.
believe I guess when you just have all day to write, it happens. And so like there was a watercolor painter there from Sweden, and she's going to be on the cover of my album. The album is going to be called
Wow. Okay.
Skakanafell, which is the name of that mountain that I woke up and looked at every morning. So she had painted that mountain. So it's like her painting of that mountain. And then there was a woman from Brooklyn who I wrote a song called Astronaut, and then another woman from Scotland who I wrote another song with. And yeah, so so unbelievable. I didn't know that I would write that many songs, but I just kind of let things happen as they happened. And I guess that happens when you quiet your mind from things around you. Like I know probably a lot of people experience like going from task to task to task at work and this and that, and your brain just like shouldn't be doing that. And so like it was just really quite a learning experience for me when I stopped doing that, and I was like, oh wow, like other things can happen when you quiet yourself somehow, and able to
See what
focus. Yeah,
bubbles
so
up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, I'll just say for those who have joined, because we've had people joining as you've been talking. So I'm talking to Vancouver artist Mellifluous tonight. And she's telling us about her experience at an artist residency in Iceland. So that's what we're chatting about. Um, so you talked about, I want to ask you about your gear, your setup in a minute, but maybe one thing, and you touched on it already, and it's a bit existential, but you talked about kind of your goal when you signed up for the retreat and when you went retreat and when you went was to kind of find yourself or reinvent yourself. And you said that you ended up kind of coming full circle back to yourself. So do you want to share
Yeah.
anything about that?
Yeah.
And you've touched on it
So
already.
that was where my name came in, where as I said earlier, I was talking to a fellow who was like, "Oh, maybe you should just, have a band name." And then I kind of created this like persona of my band, and I had a pink wig and a pink cowboy hat, and I was
Oh,
and in my
right, I
mind, I was
remember
just
that.
like, yeah, I'm just gonna do this thing of be this person that I always kind of like want. Always, I brought a pink tutu, everything, the whole works. And then and I love it still. So that was like the kind of other me that I was going to take on and become. But then as I went through the residency, I realized I just kind of like being myself. I don't know if I need that. And
Well, you're
well,
amazing and
I don't,
lovely.
but
So
it was like kind of fun to think about and to do. But like when I did it, because I did a show there and I had my bag of things and I went to put that on. I'm like, this is not going to work. Like, it's not going to work for me to put a pink wig on and a cowboy hat. Like, I just got to be like a little bit, I don't know. I think so in a way that I think I found myself there somehow. I don't know. I feel like it
nice.
because you're around artists all day long, and you know how you just sort of second guess
Hmm.
maybe what you're doing, or second guess yourself as an artist, where you don't feel like the confidence to say, "Hey, yeah, like this is who I am. I'm playing music. I'm a musician." And then somehow that shifts when you're doing it every day, where you're like, well, wait, I am a musician and I do love what I'm doing. And other people like it too. So, like, that feeling of confidence for me really, I would say, shifted at a certain point. And and then the conversations that you're having, like sometimes just in beautiful scenarios, like one night we waited out in the studio for the Northern Lights to come, because they come out at like 3 in the morning.
Okay.
So I was sitting with like all of the people at the residency and they weren't there, but we were waiting. So we were just like eating chips and drinking whiskey and just like talking about what it is to be an artist. Like you just have these natural conversations pop up, and I think that's where the shift comes, because everyone kind of feels like that a little bit, because we're just
Hmm.
we're all just people. Like some people may have been further ahead in their career, and then there's other people that just maybe do this as a hobby, which is me. And then there's other people who, are, yeah, like we're all in different places, but when you come together as artists, it's amazing actually to feel that connection with other people. And it is powerful.
Powerful, yeah. So have you, so you've probably built some pretty amazing friendships, connections with people that you're going to keep in touch with
Yeah,
from
yeah.
the
Like there's one
residency.
song that I started. There's a guy in Skagastrond. He's from Poland and he moved there to work in the bait factory. But he saw my gear and he's just like, He was a rapper from Poland. And so he's like, can I come and like play on your stuff? And so I was like, of course. So he came one afternoon and he
Cool.
like made some beats and it was amazing. And then he called his wife and son to come in to listen. And so then his son sang on the song. Anyway, it just like was worked out perfectly. So I made a like rap song, but of course I'm not going to rap. That would be embarrassing. But he's going to rap on that song. Like, so that song is going to become 2 songs. So his song, which is the rap song, and then I am creating my own song. So I came home not finishing that, and then I like was connecting with this woman in Scotland, and I'm like, I need words, and we were both feeling like really missing what we had there, and so she's like, yes, I just want to collaborate again. So anyway, yeah. I'm going to keep those collaborations happening. I forget the question, but.
Oh, no, you answered it. No, I was just asking about collaborations and connections.
Yeah, so
with the
I'm
other folks
going
that
to
were
definitely stay in touch. And then the woman in Brooklyn, she has, her name is Ann Kaiser, and she has, she's a published poet. And so I might look, I don't know, I'll stay connected. So who knows what'll happen down the road. I just got to get this album out. Like that's
Yes. Yes, I can't wait to hear it. You mentioned the Polish rapper came to the freezer or the jail or whichever location you were in at the time. The jail? Okay. And made some beats on your gear. Can you tell us a little bit about the gear? Because I remember when you were packing up to go to Iceland, I remember you posting pictures of yourself at the kind of packing up. You had a couple of videos of you packing, very strategically all your stuff and then heading to the airport. So tell us about your gear.
Okay,
and
so
your setup and what you took with you.
I use the Push 2, which is connected to like you can't really see, but it's connected to Ableton. So Ableton Live. And then I use this for triggering, I guess, sounds on my violin. So yeah, I'm sorry, I wish I could play, but it's just too weird to, I should give you a song to post or I don't know what. But anyway, and it's
at some point, for sure.
Yeah. So it's connected to the violin, so I can I create like different sounds on the violin, and then I use a lot of vocals, and I can trigger sounds with my vocals, and that is also connected to like the Focusrite, which is like multi-channel, so that's how I plug everything in, and then my computer is there as well. So yeah, I guess, can I tell you a little story about the front? Okay, I love wiring my little setup, because like if you, only just because I like clean wires, and so I just like feel like I'm constantly plugging and unplugging my little thing. But when I was in Skagastrone, knitting is like a really like cool thing to do. Like everyone knits, like Bjork had knitting nights, right? And so I got this woman to knit me a sign. It's not quite finished yet, but like a sign for the front of my little system to hide my cords, even though they're super clean. Yeah. So cool. I had a woman knit me that, and then I got her to knit me a hat to match. So that's my mellifluous. It's the
Awesome.
high
I
chords,
love
but
it.
I like showing off my chords because it took me so long to wire up this stupid thing. Yeah.
I can imagine. And I mean, it's good once you're there. Once you were there, I guess you were set up in a place for a while, so you didn't have to deal with the
Yeah,
packing and
exactly. Like
unpacking.
taking this was like it cost me like $200 to of extra luggage because it yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, but it got there and it got back, so yay. Yeah.
Amazing. Amazing. Maybe I'll ask you two more questions, but one more big question. And, this might be a bit of a repeat from stuff you already touched on, but I want to ask it anyway. Was your biggest takeaway from the residency?
I love that question because I've thought about it quite a lot. And and my biggest
Okay.
takeaway is that we don't have to live our lives in a 9 to 5, Monday to Friday kind of way. I met people that were living their life residency hopping because it's really, like, really, when I got there,
Mhm.
I didn't really spend that much money. And so yeah, it just really showed me that other people are living their lives in totally different ways, especially as artists,
Mhm.
Some people are doing the academic thing. There were grad students, and then other people were like living kind of, like very frugally and taking their painting very seriously. And so they would do, so they would be able to carve out space for doing their art. And so that's what I came away with, is just like, you can carve out space in your own way, that you don't have to, you have to like build that balance back into your life. So I feel like, like that was definitely my biggest takeaway. And yeah, and I
Beautiful.
hope that as I get back into work, because my brain's not totally back yet, um, it will be next week. But I just like
Good.
really,
Yeah, that's
I
a
really
good thing.
hope that, I can find that balance, because I was losing it a little bit, like losing it, losing my balance. And I think
Right.
that that's a common story for a lot of people, I would imagine. So,
Absolutely. I hear you with that struggle and maintaining that balance and getting swept up into the 9 to 5. Um, oh, thank you for the comment. There we've got, I find this guest very intriguing and I love her takeaway. There you go, Clara. Um, Actually, I should maybe turn it over to the room, the live stream. If anyone has any questions, I know it's a little awkward to type in the chat, but if you have a question, feel free to type it in the chat, and we can chat for a few more minutes before we sign off. Maybe building on what you said about your takeaway, and this is, I think you said you're still in the zone where you're still feeling it, and I really hope you hang on to that. And do you have any thoughts of things that you might do in your life now that will help you hang on to that sense of balance and not being kind of eaten up by the
I
9 to 5?
think that, like, I want to perform again. So that is one huge takeaway. I'm not
Nice.
sure where, because, like, bars are always kind of a funny place. I don't know. I've just played bars my whole life. So,
They are. They are a funny
but
place.
I want to connect. Yeah, like feeling of connection with other artists, but people in general. Like, I just love people and being open. And so that, like, what was the question?
Well, I think you're answering it. I think just to, keeping
I
the
want to keep
keeping
the
the
vibe
vibe
alive.
alive from
How am
the
I going to do
retreat.
it? I'm going to force myself to play and to keep writing. So like one thing, I started like reaching out to my musician friends to be like, let's do a song sharing once a month to just talk about what we're working on.
Nice.
Not necessarily that we have to collaborate, but just like that place of being able to like share. Yeah. So I don't know the other ways. I think playing, if I just start playing out, it kind of forces you to practice and to hone your skills. So
Yeah, it does.
I think I'm gonna try and do that to keep the vibe happening.
Awesome. Well, we should have you back on the show when you're ready to release your album. I'd love to have you back and talk about kind of your journey since the residency and releasing
Yay.
the music.
That,
That would be great. Um, so where can people find out more about you and hear your music once you put it out and hear about the project and all the
yeah,
songs
well,
you
I
wrote in
think the
Iceland?
best place is probably on Instagram. So if you follow me on Instagram, I just started building that when I changed my name, so I could separate it from work things. That's the best place. I posted little bits and pieces of my songs I was
Right.
part of the intention of posting was that I wanted to share my process and didn't have to be perfect. The album, of course, is going to be perfect. I don't know. More than the Instagram ones. So that's the best place. And then I have a website as well that you can go and see the website from the Instagram.
Okay. Great. So look for Mellifluous on Instagram. And if you check out the post that I did a post and a story on Instagram today about Lara or Mellifluous, sorry, joining joining the live stream, so you can easily find her profile that way. Oh, and somebody's asking about Spotify. Will you be releasing music
Yeah,
on
so
streaming
I
platforms?
don't know if there's other musicians, and this is probably a struggle for all of us, is like, how do you, like, do I really want to post on, a platform right now where there's a million releases a day or however many it is? Like, I'm sort of thinking that through before I post, and I'm being really, the songs are finished. Not only do I have the songs finished, I recorded them there and I have videos to them, but I'm not releasing them yet because I want to release them in the right place before I do that. And I just am scared that it'll just get lost in the noise. And so I'm just gonna like hang back and just go slow on where and when to post it. Because really I want to put the album out tomorrow. It's finished. It's done. Like I am so excited to share the songs with people because they mean so much to me. Like every song has a really beautiful story that goes along with it. But I don't know. So yeah, Spotify for sure. I'm Bandcamp, all of those platforms, iTunes, but I just
Awesome.
don't know what and where yet. If you have any ideas,
Yeah,
anybody
well,
has
you
ideas.
have time. Yeah, well, there's a huge, a collective wisdom of all the musicians out there. I know I met a lot of them during the pandemic when we were all in lockdown here on places like Instagram, and I know a lot of folks struggle or have struggled with where to release their music. And I do know some artists who have taken their music off the streaming platforms and have exclusively released stuff on Bandcamp or, so use Bandcamp as more of a storefront. So
Yeah,
there's all kinds of different approaches that people are taking. So you will find the right
yeah,
way for you, I'm
yeah.
sure. So So stay tuned to Mellifluous's profile and posts on Instagram to find out where the music can be found when it's ready to be out in the
Someday
world.
soon.
Woohoo!
Soon, I hope. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, thanks so much, Clara Mellifluous, for joining. It's so amazing to have this chat with you, and thank you for being so open and sharing your experience at the residency. Very
Thank you.
inspiring.
And yeah, thanks, Kelly. And we'll talk soon.
You're welcome. Yes, very soon. So tune in next week, folks. I'll be having talking about my upcoming release, and I have another special guest joining next week from a bee farm outside of Victoria. So yeah, thank you so much, Lara, for joining.
Okay.
And we'll talk to
Bye.
you soon. All right. Bye. Thanks for joining, everybody. Take